going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your whatever the hell it is day today in September Raw review. And as I've been saying for the past couple of weeks, Raw was fantastic, despite what anybody else will try to tell you. A lot of things that people have been saying about Raw, a lot of things that people have been saying about me in the past few weeks and my positive opinion of Raw. Well, it is what it is. We start off tonight with a video package that pushes the fact that we're going to have Springer on Raw tonight. It pushes that we're going to have a SummerSlam rematch with Orton and Roman Reigns. We're going to see Jericho and Wyatt in a cage, and Heyman has a warning for not for CM Punk, for John Cena. It's also the season premiere of Raw, whatever that means. We start off the show. Now, this is where I need to look to those people that always bitch and kvetch about Raw. Oh, we always start with the boring talking segment. We always start with the authority. We always start with John Cena. Da-da-da-da-da-da. We started the night with, I'm sorry, spoiler alert, but the match of the night, which was Bray Wyatt versus Chris Jericho in a steel cage. The Wyatts come down, Jericho comes down, and Wyatt, as they usually do, grabbing Rowan by the hair, grabbing Harper by the hair, and saying whatever he says to them, all face-to-face, getting them all revved up before he even gets himself in the cage, because gives this idea that getting his family revved up gets him revved up for the match, which is nice. We have... In the early going, we have this really, really interesting dynamic, because we have Wyatt, who, while he's agile for his size and quick for his size, he's also got a lot of power behind him. And you got Jericho, who, when he decides to turn it on, has a really, really nice vicious streak. The commentators really, really hit over the head the fact that you can win this match by pinfall, submission, or escaping the cage. But in Jericho's case, escaping the cage isn't an option because the Wyatt family is outside. They really push that point home, and it adds to the story of things. Wyatt hits two really, really good spots in a row, one being him sandwiching Jericho between the ring ropes and the outer mesh of the cage, or not the mesh, the support beam of the cage, and then just doing a really, really nice looking full body splash onto him. We come back from break and he hits them with the typical Wyatt cross body, which is basically him throwing his a little less than small body at Chris Jericho's midsection like a boomerang. Very, very nice. Wyatt tries to escape the cage. Jericho stops him and hits an electric chair on the big man, which is very, very impressive. Wyatt breaks the walls of Jericho, which is an interesting little storytelling tidbit in this, because it shows, you know, one of Jericho's primary weapons does not work on Bray Wyatt because of the power, because of the size, etc., etc., etc. Jericho traps Wyatt in the rope, between the rope and the cage, much like he did earlier, and hits him with a nice, sweet-looking top rope dropkick. Wyatt hits a second rope superplex to Chris Jericho, and I know, you're thinking, if you didn't see this match, as a superplex from the second rope doesn't seem that impressive, but it's damn impressive when you see the size of Wyatt and the force that he does it with. It's still a very, very impressive looking maneuver. Wyatt crab walks towards the door, which is another interesting psychological thing. It's like he could walk out the door right now because Jericho's injured, but he still needs to be himself. He still needs to be creepy. He still needs to play those mind games and do the crab walk. And at that particular moment, it's more important to him than simply walking out of the cage, which is nice. We see the crab walk countered into the walls of Jericho, which is once again broken, keeping up that idea that Jericho's vulnerable because one of his weapons simply does not work. Jericho Hurricane Rana's Bray Wyatt off the top rope, which is a sick looking spot, again I say, for somebody of the size difference of Bray Wyatt. Jericho, after the Hurricane Rana, tries to escape over the cage, and he's reminded that he can't because the Wyatts are on the outside, which is fine. Instead, he does, from the top of the cage, a wicked-looking crossbody that I really don't want to say was botched, but it really looked like it was, because it looks like Jericho lands with his full body weight on the side of Wyatt's head, because you see Wyatt kind of go like this and fall backwards, and Jericho also sells a leg injury, so when they're both down, Wyatt is sort of in a, you know, very protective, almost like a fetal position type pose on one side, Jericho on the other side, drastically and frantically unwrapping his newly injured leg, which is fine, which is wonderful. They have a big, it lasts about, it feels like it lasts about 30 seconds. It's probably only about 10. They are literally brawling with each other. They are literally scrapping over each other under the bottom rope right at the door. They are literally handprints away from escaping the cage, and at the very last minute, Bray Wyatt takes advantage of Jericho's freshly injured knee, literally steamrolls over Jericho, and he's the first one out of the cage. He wins the match. Fantastic match. Apparently this is going to cap off their series. So for people that are saying that Bray Wyatt hasn't been put over by the WWE recently, he lost to Jericho once, beat him at a pay-per-view where he had no backup, which makes him look stronger, and beat him in this match where he had no backup other than the fact that Jericho just didn't want to go out where the other Wyatts were. They didn't actually do anything. This was a ridiculously strong way to put over Bray Wyatt, and he did it well. And Jericho, obviously, is the king of making people look like $1 million. He could have a great match with the proverbial broomstick. And thankfully, Bray Wyatt is a lot more than a broomstick. After the match, you see Jericho still in the doorframe. Bray Wyatt, because he can, assaulting Chris Jericho's injured leg in the door of the cage. And then he gets thrown back in the cage. The Wyatts lock the door, leaving Bray Wyatt and an injured Chris Jericho in the ring. Sister Abigail, follow the buzzards. No better way to end this feud. There really, really isn't. Why do I say this is the end of the feud? Wait and see. We'll see later on. We get a couple reminders. Heyman's warning for Cena is coming up later tonight. Bella's on Springer is coming up later tonight. Alex is looking forward to that one. I know he is. And Orton versus Roman Reigns is your main event. A rematch from SummerSlam. In the back, we see Kane, Rollins, and Triple H. We have Triple H telling everybody we have to make it unforgettable. It is the season premiere after all. Orton says he wants to one-up what Rollins did to Ambrose in his match with Roman Reigns tonight. And Triple H grants him permission without knowing what the hell he's talking about, which is always fun. Ziggler comes out. Ziggler got mic time. Fantastic. Ziggler comes out, talks a very, very current promo about all the recent celebrities that have been victims of piracy. They've had their cell phone photos stolen, their privacy invaded and all that. I think the most notable one is Jennifer Lawrence, if I'm not mistaken. But he talks about how this is such a travesty and an atrocity. Nobody deserves for this to happen, whether you're an A-list, a B-list, a C-list, or even a D-list celebrity. Oh wait, maybe there's one D-list celebrity that does deserve this to happen to them. Calls The Miz a D-list celebrity and then starts showing pictures that he apparently hacked from Miz's phone. The first one is Miz in his underwear in a facial cleanser, whatever you want to call it, mask. Very embarrassing, ha ha ha. The second one is him in a bathroom shaving his chest, and the third one is, and he's cut off by The Miz, along with his stunt double Damien Mizdow, which I think is fantastic. He says it's an outrageous invasion of privacy, and how anybody that has ever seen these pictures has invaded the sanctity of his home. He says, if anybody ever posts these anywhere, my people are going to sue your people, and you, and the crowd, and the company, and da-da-da-da. And most importantly, he will make sure that Dolph Ziggler never works in this town again. Which I'm pretty sure is not up to him, it's up to the WWE. Typical Hollywood Miz being cocky, love it. And Ziggler says, well, alright, if I'm never going to work in this town again, I might as well put this up while I can. Throws it back up to the Titantron. One more time, we see naked Miz with a sensor bar over his ass getting spray-tanned by Damien Mizdow. As soon as the picture goes up, Miz gets pissed. Ziggler goes from joking around to also being more intense than we're used to seeing from Dolph Ziggler, daring the Miz over and over and over again to come and fight him if he's that pissed off. Sends in Damien Mizdow instead, who eats a dropkick and a zigzag, and we have more fuel to the fire to their Intercontinental Championship match at Night of Champions. It's all good. We are reminded once again that Roman Reigns and Randy Orton are going to fight tonight, and Bellas are going to be on Springer coming up later tonight. My favorite diva tag team of Paige take on Natalya Neidhart and Rosa Mendes. Why Rosa Mendes is on Raw, I don't know. We see some great chain wrestling from the start between Natalya and Paige, which I will say, on a personal note, reminded me a lot of the Toronto House show that I was at a little bit ago. You guys saw the pictures. The match between Natalya and Paige at the Toronto House show that I was at was fantastic. We saw more of that here. Rosa Mendes tags in, and she is, well, let's face it, pretty damn useless. But she takes a monumental amount of mounted headbutts from Paige. Paige will not tag in AJ because there's taunting involved and they have a match coming up with her. Instead, ties up Rosa Mendes in the ropes and has her all in a compromising position, gives her knee shot after knee shot after knee shot, which, laugh at me if you want, reminded me of the knee shots that Lesnar gave to Cena at SummerSlam just because they came one after another, after another, after another. AJ finally grabs Paige by the hair to drag her back to the corner to get the pin. I love AJ, but she put on a really awkward looking Black Widow. I don't think she ever fully had it cinched in properly, but Rosa Mendez, being the useless tit that she is, taps out pretty quickly. And in another little tiny victory that I will take out of tonight, AJ got a lot of chants tonight after this submission victory, but she didn't get the typical AJ gets CM Punk chants. No, we had loud and proud, actual AJ Lee chants. That's a big step for her. I mean, obviously, people know that AJ's fantastic, and they're cheering for CM Punk because of her association with CM Punk, because we love both of them. But for her to actually be getting her own chance tonight was a big step in the right direction. Paige comes while AJ is posing victoriously and all this sort of thing, reminds her that she's still the champion, kisses the belt in front of her, and skips off. And we look forward to their title match at Night of Champions. Oh wait, Nikki Bella's in that match too, isn't she? Oh, we're not going to see her till later on. Fantastic. We replay Jericho's cage dive and the Wyatt attack from earlier. We see Jericho in the back, and of all people, Randy Orton, well, comes into the trainer's room there where Jericho's already getting seen to. He can't stand. He's getting his knee all iced over. And Randy Orton kicks the living snot out of him, if I'm honest. Says, I've never had anything handed to me in my life, in reference to the highlight reel last week, which is great. And after he's done beating him down, he just kind of shrugs like an asshole and says, what can I say? It's the season premiere. Heyman comes out for his promo, and there's certain things where I don't take notes, guys. Like, I have a ridiculous amount of notes for it. I didn't take notes on the Heyman promo because you really can't. All I can say for this segment is go check it out, because Heyman basically screams in John Cena's face everything that we've been saying forever. If you want to beat Brock Lesnar, you gotta lose the gimmicks. You gotta lose this nice guy attitude. You gotta admit when things piss you off, and you gotta unleash. You gotta let it go. You gotta tell people when you hate them and turn on the fans and da-da-da-da. And Cena comes back with everything that we've ever heard Cena say, but I will say delivered in an actually somewhat believable way. So the back and forth between Cena and Heyman, mostly because of Heyman, was pretty good tonight. The one thing that I will say that happened in this entire thing is, why should Brock Lesnar be afraid of me? He beat down The Undertaker, and Undertaker hasn't been seen since. He beat down me, and I came back next week. So John Cena's putting himself above The Undertaker, and you can deal with Steffi Sunshine or Jamie Loves Taker if you're going to try and pop off that crap. But other than that, the crux of this is Brock Lesnar, come to Raw next week and fight me, or I'm going to beat the shit out of Paul Heyman. Good promo overall. I will say, good for a John Cena promo. Heyman's promos are always awesome. But it sets up for next week, and I guess it plays towards Night of Champions as best we can without Lesnar being there. Great segment overall. Rollins versus Sheamus kind of seemed out of the blue. Sheamus overpowers in the early going, obviously, because he's Ginger Cena, including what I will admit is a very nice face-first suplex. Rollins eventually comes back, several kicks to the head, and just before the commercial break, Cesaro's music interrupts the match, and he comes out in stage in his suit and whatever. We come back from break, he's watching from ringside on the commentator's side, so occasionally he's bantering with the commentators, saying some smart-ass shit. In the ring, Sheamus hits a top rope shoulder block on Sheamus hits a top rope shoulder block on Rollins. I can speak, I swear. Rollins responds by taking that exact same shoulder and driving it into the ring post. So, a little tit for tat there. Rollins locks on a sleeper, which Sheamus turns into what I can only call a backpack backdrop. So he had him up like piggyback style because he was in the sleeper, just dropped him straight back. It's not a Samoan drop because he wasn't across, but so it's a backpack backdrop. Give me a name for it down in the box below. Cesaro starts walking around the outside of the ring with Sheamus' U.S. title. Rollins uses the distraction to get a near fall, gets a 2 count, responds with a curb stomp, which does get the win. Rollins gets the win, he gets to fuck off and do whatever. Cesaro comes into the ring, hits a neutralizer on Sheamus, and everybody goes home happy. We have a U.S. title match to look forward to at Night of Champions. Everybody wins. We have a video package showing the history, or the very brief history, between Mark Henry and Rusev, and basically why they have a match at Night of Champions. Rusev then comes out with Lana. Lana talks about how Baltimore is where the American National Anthem was written. Is this? I don't know American history. Is that actually true? Tell me in the box below. She plays the Russian national anthem instead, dedicates it to Rusev. Lawler, at the announce table, is so disgusted he says, I'm going to sit on the floor while this happens. Okay. We have a promo for NXT TakeOver 2, which is this coming Thursday, which is good enough. I'm very, very happy to see an NXT program being advertised on Raw, let alone the fact that we come back from break and 4 of the prime NXT superstars are in a tag team match on Raw. Crowd goes nuts when we get Adrian Neville and Sami Zayn versus Tyler Breeze and Tyson Kidd. NXT yellow lights all over the place as if it's the NXT arena. It's, you know, Full Sail, took some drugs and got bigger, I don't know. I'm not going to try and call everything that happened in this match because everybody in this match is fast and it would have taken me forever to watch the match if I was going to write down everything down. Very, very fast-paced match. Olay chants for Sami Zayn through most of the match. Neville, somewhere in the middle of this match, hits a really, really nice standing moonsault, and obviously Neville, being the champion who needs to look strong going into TakeOver, hits the red arrow on Tyler Breeze, and Neville and Zayn are your winners. I cannot say enough how cool it is to see them acknowledging NXT on Raw. Not only acknowledging NXT, but letting the NXT stars have a match on Raw. It makes NXT feel important. It makes NXT's, well, not pay-per-view, but their special event seem important as well. And for those of you, once again, who are saying that all the little guys, they always get squished, they never get a chance to look good, they never get paid attention to, look at this shit. Look at this shit. It was fantastic. That's really all I can say. The only downside to this would have been if you had a crowd that didn't watch NXT and the crowd would have been quiet, but it wouldn't have changed the fact that the match was phenomenal. All the commentators, the entire match, talking up NXT, talking up all the matches that are happening at TakeOver, talking up the 4 guys in the ring that are going to be fighting for the NXT Championship at TakeOver. This was probably the best piece of promotional business that has been done for NXT since NXT has been a thing. It was great. Then we have Stephanie coming out, mentioning that she wrestled her father here once in Baltimore, so she knows what a family feud is like, and there's nobody that can solve a family feud quite like Jerry Springer. We get Jerry chants. The commentators make a joke of the fact that this is the second time somebody named Jerry has tried to help the Bellas. Fantastic. Jerry Springer says he's happy to be back on Raw, yada yada yada, introduces Brie Bella, they discuss her attack on Nikki, the tweeted apology afterwards, they introduce Nikki, they have a handshake, she accepts the apology for the attack, but she does not accept the apology for all the years of abuse and favoritism and blah 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 blah. But I'm okay. I'm doing good. My show, Total Divas, is going into its 3rd season. I have a Divas Championship match at Night of Champions, and she's just trying to bring me down with her negativity. Very, very nice. Very, very mean girls, which is exactly what this segment was supposed to be. We see a montage of all the times that Brie has quote-unquote mistreated Nikki on Total Divas, which is a free commercial for Total Divas, so good for them. Nikki then says, Brie, you're so selfish, you are the reason that Dad left us. And then we see a video from their dad and a video from their mom saying, you know, our daughter's not getting along, is tearing up our family, and it's so sad and it's so horrible. Jerry, please help our daughters. And then Brie responds to her sister by saying, well, at least my brother JJ is in my corner. I don't watch Total Divas. I don't know who JJ is. Is JJ a thing? But JJ is in the arena. He comes down and he turns on Brie. The Bellas start fighting. Jerry Springer gets caught in the middle. Nikki accidentally clocks their brother at one point. In a big nasty pile on top of Jerry Springer is Brie, Nikki, and also Stephanie McMahon. The Bellas brawl, and somewhere in the middle Jerry Springer got hurt. He tore his... I think they said he twisted his ankle and bruised a rib. So the Bellas and their brother and Stephanie McMahon somehow beat up Jerry Springer. And he got stretchered out with a big thumbs up as he's leaving. I really thought later on in the night they were going to pop up another little video with like a Springer's final thought, which is what they did last time Springer was on the show. But they didn't. So that was the end of that. It was silly, and it was way overdone, and it was also completely harmless. So people that are going to complain about this with the other bits of this show that we've gotten so far are literally looking for something to complain about. Goldust and Stardust take on the Matadors, and my first thought is, for the second time tonight, the whole arena is bathed in yellow light. The Matadors are going to job, obviously, but they do give Gold and Stardust an opportunity to show their more aggressive side, show their heel side, and really get an ass kicking from them. Los Matadors do, at one point, hit a double tope suicida, or sorry, tope suicida, I think is how you pronounce it, on Goldust on the outside. Back inside, one of the Matadors gets thrown, sort of, that weird sort of upside down throw into the corner that Goldust has started doing now, which just looks like you're kind of being ragdolled. I don't know what they're calling it. You know, moves don't have names anymore. But then he tosses him to Stardust, who hits the Dark Matter, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the Dark Matter kind of a reverse mic check? You know, heel Cody Rhodes, heel Stardust or whatever has a new heel finisher, which is fantastic. Gold and Stardust pose on the rampway, looking like they've already won the tag team championships, when really all they've done is beat the Matadors again. But they get their ass handed to them by the Usos, who come down and beat them with crutches, which is fantastic. WWE remembers Joan Rivers, including tweets from Roddy Piper and Hulk Hogan. Nice little video package highlighting the history between Joan Rivers and the WWE. I don't really know what else to say. I mean, R.I.P. Joan Rivers. You know, Joan Rivers right after Robin Williams. Incredibly unfortunate, incredibly classy thing for the WWE to do. They do video tributes to people like no other, and it was a nice little feel-good moment. Not much to say here, but Titus O'Neil took on Adam Rose. All you really need to know is the Bunny gave Sweet Chin music to Slater. Off of that distraction, Adam Rose beat Titus O'Neil with the party foul, and then the Bunny hit a top rope splash on Titus O'Neil. And I can't defend this segment, but it took maybe 5 minutes. Again, it's not the end of the world. Orton versus Roman Reigns is a pretty standard match, and by standard match, I like watching these guys fight. I know they're going to give me a good match, but I know they're going to give me a good match. So them giving me a good match is the standard. After the first commercial, there was 2 commercial breaks in this match. It went for quite a while. After the first commercial break, the one really memorable spot for me is over the commercial break, they had done the typical, like, throw them into the steps things, the steps come apart. The larger, flatter portion of the steps, when you come back from break, Orton is just smacking Roman Reigns' face off of this thing, like, over and over and over and over. And it really, really does look nasty. Ironically enough, Orton was the one busted open in this match, and I don't know how or anything like that. But when it looks like he's about to lose, Kane comes down, Rollins comes down, and Kane, Rollins, and Orton triple team. Lost my train of thought. They triple team Roman Reigns, because that's the opponent, right? I fuck up sometimes, I lose my train of thought sometimes, but you guys are the ones watching my videos, so welcome to the party. Not only did they come down, Kane and Rollins, but they also brought ring techs with them, and nobody really knows what's going on until they start clanging around under the ring, and they lower the cage. The idea being, I guess, that there was going to be a 3-on-1 advantage in the cage, but Rollins and Kane are tossed out by Reigns, leaving Orton and Roman. Roman beats down Orton in the cage, including a spear. Once we get the door off the cage, I can't read my own writing, guys. This is the thing. Kane tries to come in the door. Roman Reigns chases him away with the chair, knocks him off the steps and against the back railing by the audience. But that was enough of a distraction for Rollins to hit a splash from the top of the cage, which looks very nice. Kane beats down Roman Reigns with the chair. Orton beats down Roman Reigns with the chair. Rollins curb stomps Roman Reigns on the chair, and that's how we end Raw. Overbooked to hell. I don't know why they needed to include the cage. They could have just done something else equally creative, equally beat down-ish. For those people that say Roman Reigns is being overbooked, he got made to look like quite the bitch at the end of this segment. So, I mean, that's making people smile, I suppose. Nobody really cares about Kane. Nobody likes Randy Orton, so he's being made to look strong, so nobody's going to like that. But so is Seth Rollins, and he's one of the ROH guys. I like Seth Rollins, but you know, he's also one of the ROH guys, so he's got that following. A lot of good things happened tonight. We got a brand new setup for a brand new feud between Jericho and Orton, which is going to be good. Bray Wyatt was made to look like $1 million. Gold and Stardust are primed to take the tag team titles off of the Usos. We got some decent promo work out of Cena, which you don't see every day. The Diva stories are being built up. AJ and Paige are playing their psychological war games with each other. And we've got, I think, what is it? Is it a week or 2 weeks before Night of Champions. For those of you that have asked, I have spoken to OKFabe, and all things being equal, we will be double teaming a Night of Champions preview video the week before Night of Champions. I'm glad you guys liked the first one. If this can become a monthly thing, if I can talk to Connor and he's cool with it becoming a monthly thing, I will try to make it a monthly thing along with Ask the Phoenix. So thank you guys for your feedback on that. I will try to make it happen as best as I can. This was a fantastic Raw. If you're bitching about this, then you went into it already wanting to bitch. That's all I can really say about that, and I'm not going to dwell on that. But yeah, that was Raw. I'm really looking forward to Night of Champions. There's a lot of really awesome matches coming up. Just an exciting time for me, and for those of you that can't get excited, I kind of feel bad for you. But that's it. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. What are you looking forward to at Night of Champions? Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.